Welcome to the Chronicles of Rome, Episode 4, The Birth of the Republic, From Kings to Consuls. 509 BCE, a year etched into the Roman mind as the dawn of freedom. The year the people of Rome cast off kings and chose to govern themselves. It began with a crime, the crime of Sextus Tarquinius, son of King Tarquinius Superbus. According to tradition, Sextus assaulted Lucretia, a noble woman of impeccable virtue. She was the wife of Collatinus, cousin to the king, and a model of Roman chastity and honor. After revealing the assault to her family, Lucretia took her own life. Her final act was not of shame, but of defiance. She refused to live under tyranny. Lucretia's death ignited a fire. Lucius Junius Brutus, a quiet noble who had long concealed his cunning behind a mask of simplicity, stepped forward. With Lucretia's blood as the turning point, he rallied the Roman aristocracy and the people. At her funeral, he swore an oath. Never again would Rome suffer a king. The people followed. Tarquinius Superbus and his family were expelled. The monarchy, which had ruled for over 2 centuries, was abolished. In its place, a new system of governance was created, the Republic. To guard against tyranny, Rome replaced the singular authority of a king with the dual office of the consul. Each year, 2 consuls would be elected to serve jointly, holding equal power, each able to veto the other. They held imperium, command over armies, the law, and the state, but only for 1 year. No single man could hold absolute power. The first consuls were Lucius Junius Brutus and Lucius Tarquinius Collatinus. But even as a founder, Collatinus bore the name Tarquinius, a name now associated with royal oppression. Public pressure forced him to resign. He was replaced by Publius Valerius, later known as Publicola, friend of the people. Publicola enacted crucial laws. Magistrates had to face public trial if they abused their power. The people had the right to appeal any capital sentence, provocatia ad populum. This was no mere regime change. It was a revolution in principle. The people, through assemblies, had a voice. The law, not lineage, defined authority. But the Republic was born into danger. In its earliest years, Rome faced the threat of restoration. The exiled king Tarquinius Superbus sought allies across Latium and Etruria. He appealed to the cities that had once honored Rome as a peer or rival. He found his greatest supporter in Lars Porsenna, king of Clusium, a powerful Etruscan city. Porsenna marched on Rome. The fledgling republic stood on the edge of collapse. But in the face of invasion, legends were born. Horatius Cocles held the Pons Sublicius, the bridge across the Tiber, against the Etruscan army. Alone, with only 2 companions, he stood at the entrance to the city while Roman soldiers destroyed the bridge behind him. As the last beam fell, Horatius plunged into the river, wounded, armored, but alive. Rome was saved. Another hero emerged, Mucius Scaevola. Seeking to kill Porsenna, he entered the enemy camp but assassinated the wrong man. Captured, he declared he was one of 300 Roman youths prepared to do the same. To prove his courage, he placed his right hand into a fire and let it burn, without flinching. Porsenna was so impressed by his bravery that he released him. Then came Cloelia, a Roman girl taken hostage by the Etruscans. She escaped her captors, swimming across the Tiber under a rain of arrows, leading a group of Roman maidens to safety. When Porsenna demanded her return, the Romans complied. But he, in admiration, released her and the others. These were more than stories. They were templates. The Republic was more than a system of governance. It was an identity. Courage, duty, sacrifice. These were the virtues the Republic demanded. Eventually, Porsenna made peace. He may have even occupied the city briefly, but he did not restore the Tarquins. Their time had passed. The monarchy was gone. Yet the Republic was not free of struggle. Brutus himself, founder of the Republic, faced the ultimate test. His own sons were caught in a conspiracy to restore the king. Brutus did not hesitate. He condemned them to death. As consul, he watched the execution. As a father, he mourned in silence. Rome came before blood. The Senate, formerly advisors to kings, now held the Republic's institutional memory. They directed policy, managed war and diplomacy, and held considerable influence over the assemblies. While not legislative, their authority, the auctoritas senatus, was the moral compass of the state. Religious power, once centered on the king, was redistributed. The office of Rex Sacrorum was created to preserve sacred rights, but stripped of political power. The Pontifex Maximus, the chief priest, became the religious authority. Rome would be governed not by divine right, but by sacred law. The city itself changed. The construction of the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus was completed atop the Capitoline Hill. It was not only Rome's greatest temple, it was the center of Roman state religion. Triumphs began and ended there. Oaths were sworn before Jupiter. It became the spiritual anchor of the Republic. The people were organized into centuries and tribes for voting. Assemblies began to take shape. The Comitia Centuriata elected magistrates and passed laws. But voting power favored the wealthy, whose centuries voted first. Still, it was a step towards civic participation. Roman identity was taking form. A people ruled by law, not a king. A state built on shared sacrifice, a city where duty came before privilege. Yet beneath this ideal, inequity simmered. Most political offices were still held by the patricians, the noble families who claimed descent from the founders. The plebeians, the common people, could vote, but they had little voice in government. They shouldered taxes, military service, and hardship, but they lacked protection and representation. The stage was set for the Republic's first great internal struggle. Next time, we begin an epic arc, the conflict of the orders, a centuries-long contest between plebeians and patricians for political rights, legal protection, and social equality. From the first secession of the plebs in 494 BCE to the 12 Tables, the Lex Canulea, and beyond. Rome was not built by unity alone. It was shaped by discord and by the determination to forge a common path. But remember this, Rome did not simply eliminate its kings. It replaced them with something more enduring, a republic of law, of duty, of shared power, an idea that would outlive emperors. This has been the Chronicles of Rome. Join us next time as the plebeians rise and the republic is tested from within.